Can't quite put my fingers in there to feel it all the way around, but
let's see.
Your fingers long enough to get in there at all or not? It's pretty far out. Yeah, can't reach either. Oh, I know how to tell. Shit. Dumbass. Quit being a dumbass. Got our bigbore borescope here.
Oh crap.
There we go. I haven't done a test video on this tool yet, but I keep using it. One of these days I'll do the real video. But there you go. What do you want to know?
We're doing a motoroscopy.
It's got a valve guide in there. Look at that. You can wiggle that around the way you want it to be.
Let's clean it off first.
It was clean once.
How's that look?
Let me change the camera view.
It's pretty spot on. Oh, I see a lip.
Yep. Not much you can do about it either, but it's in there. I'm turning the camera trying to see further. It doesn't work that way.
Small lip.
Yeah, it's got some mismatching going on there.
Let's see.
Change the
That's
view.
the bottom, even though it looks like the top.
There's a view change the other side. This is the other side we're looking at now.
This is the top.
Top looks pretty good.
Mismatch on
the,
right
so it looks
there.
like the far side is more even than the inside, which is very common for the inside to be bad. Let's try a different view again. That's the bottom.
No, it's the top.
Which one am I on? Oh yeah, it's the valve guide side. Yeah, we're upside down. There's actually 3 cameras on this thing.
So the bottom is actually really smooth. This is the bottom.
Flip it around. There's the other side. Overall, it's not too bad because most of these things are pretty far off. It's hard to make this stuff line up. So,
let's check the other side.
which side do you want to look at?
This is the front.
Well, I just flipped the camera. There's 3 cameras in that thing, so whatever view you want to get to, we can flip it around. We flip the screen. So here's your bottom. It's not too bad.
No, it's the top.
I mean, well, the other side. No, that's a big mislap on your left there. Look at the big misalignment on that side.
There we go.
Yeah, it's pretty bad there. The only way to do this, you just throw a bunch of Dicam in there. You spray it in there.
Yeah, just the.
Let it dry and you take it apart and you can see what the errors are at. Camera works pretty good though, doesn't it? So there's our non-test for our bigbore borescope. Once again, a non-test test. And it'll change a little bit when you tighten it down too, so that's going to pull it down differently. Okay, tacking over here. Out of my way. Okay, so what's this supposed to do? Because it doesn't line up with anything. Yeah, but we're not even close to where it's supposed to be, so.
Oh, because we're missing the throttle body.
Throttle body's only an inch in there?
Yeah, it's
It's only that thin? Could be bigger than that for about the turn. You think that thing would be that much at least? Because this doesn't have the idle air thing either, compensator. That'd have to be in the throttle body. That throttle body's got to be a couple inches thick, I would think.
oh, but it probably sometimes they put the
Yeah.
spacers on there.
You have to have a bunch of spacers on here to make that work. Yeah. I just don't know about these stupid things here. I know what they're trying to do, but you would think it'd be a little bit more rounded in there besides square like they're doing it, but whatever. I'm sure they got some testing going on, says that's the way to do it, but real dinky ass injectors, aren't they? Alright, well, it's kind of in there. It's halfway lined up.
Starting to look like a motor a little bit.
Yeah, and the rocker stuff's going to be all the stock stuff, should all go up in there, I would think. Looks good with those nice, good cylinders on there, like it's supposed to. Your motor's wobbling a lot.
Gotta clean these things. Makes it look like a junkyard.
Oh, where's your hoses at?
Oh yeah, forgot about those.
You wouldn't forget about when it starts leaking oil everywhere. See, if you move this crap to the other side, you can slide this motor over further. It doesn't hit over the other side. Is that the front one?
These would look so much better in stainless braid.
They look better in blue, racing blue.
Oh yeah.
Use that real line I got instead of this stuff. I think that one's upside down, isn't it?
Oh.
Clamps in the wrong spot, so. That's why I put A-in fittings on it, so you can just take them on and off easily and not deal with a bunch of hose clamps and crap. Yep, they should drain. It's doing its job. Make sure it's all the way down. So this just takes standard covers here, right?
Yep.
Alright.
So colorful.
Yeah, you gotta cover up half of that stuff though when you cover up all the stuff.
These baby exhaust ports.
My motor looked really, really nice when it blew the cylinder off. It had all that nice blue oil all over the fucking motor. Kind of like turquoise color all across my polished cam cover.
I could spray that spray on this, right? If I just masked.
The paint here?
Yeah.
Yeah. Spray it on. This is gloss black. They make I got semi-gloss also.
Then might as well.
If you use the Duplicolor, it'll stick really, really good. It's more brittle, so I don't know how good it holds up, but it's very brittle and doesn't wipe off. You know, the solvents and stuff don't affect it. It's a little bit thinner when you put it on, but whatever you overspray on it, it will not come off. So, but it works pretty good overall. Crank's still sliding out nicely. Now, if you could do that with the valves, then I'd be surprised. Be strong.
I think.
So what are you using for push rods?
That's nice. Good.
Are they coming loose for you at all? They staying tight?
No, I lock them in. But so every S&S push rod that I've ran calls for 3.5, 4 turns on the Milwaukee 8s. I've run them with 2 turns.
You mean lifter compression? Okay. But you're still using a full hydraulic lifter, which means you're probably losing some power from doing that.
Yeah, but I'm on the safer end. But my freaking...
The car guys, they do it the opposite. They run when they just barely compress at all, so you can't pump up.
Yeah, no, that's the same.
No, you're 2 turns down. You're a long ways from that. They go like a quarter, half a turn.
Oh.
But see, our motors grow more than a car motor, so you're gonna have to go at least a half a turn to 3/4 of a turn minimum.
A quarter turn. It's like you have a noisy valve string.
Yeah. But we have finer
ticking.
thread adjustment than they have too, because they have a coarser thread. They usually have a coarse thread, 5/16 adjusted, where we're doing.
Yeah, they're 32 valves and.
Yeah, they're running 18 threads per inch. We're running 32 threads per inch. There's a big difference on half a turn and a turn. So our lifter probably would take a full turn to equal one of their quarter turns. But either way, there's different theories on that. On my bike, I run it down to, I run the limited lifter on my Buell. I run it full down, and I back it off about half a turn max. Usually more like about a quarter of a turn. I lock it. So it can pump up whatever it needs to. But you only got like 1 turn of compression on that thing. But the thing is, it can't collapse any more than that. You're getting heavier? But my thing is, you can't collapse it any more than that quarter of a turn, because it's a solid.
Oh, so you have a solid lifter.
It basically goes solid on you. It's a hydraulic action. When it warms up, it'll grow, but it can only collapse to whatever you let it collapse. So you can't lose too much valve lift and stuff. But that's a 9,000 plus RPM motor, sustained 9,000. So
Jesus Christ.
you got to be, and I got a lot of spring tension on that
I
thing.
think these motors will fall apart at 9K.
And I'm running 600 pounds tension on the valve springs. So that thing's made to turn 10.5.
Aren't all Jap bikes high revving like that?
That's not Jap bike.
Well, no, yeah, Buell's not, but I'm saying
a Harley.
like the Jap bikes, aren't they all?
It's got a 3 1/8 inch stroke with a 3.5 bore. That's an evil motor. But see, my stock sports are running 13/16 stroke. I run at 8,300. So turning that little short stroke 10,000 ain't shit. Like you said these stock cranks won't take any power, but that's because they're stock cranks. So you gotta loosen the shit up to let it burn, let it rotate in there. See, that's why I know you gotta loosen this shit up. My motors spin, and I don't spin up and then come back down. They stay up there.
It was different material. Now we got brass bushings and the cranks and all that crap. It doesn't hold up.
I have brass bushings in my motors too, on some of them. I eliminated most of that junk, but most of it's needle bearing now. But kind of like these bikes were stock.
Like the S&S stuff, all the S&S cranks that I've blown up, the rods were fine, the crank was fine.
Mm-hmm.
The brass took a crap and ran through the motor. All those bushings just fell apart.
Mm-hmm. That's because the crank's flopping all over the place. That's why you leave some room in it to let it breathe a little bit.
To help it flop even more.
Well, my single, I got a self-aligning barrel, double barrel roll on the right side, so it can go 20 degrees with full action. The Timken over here, I run probably 15 thou clearance in it. You know, it's just got 25 thou movement side to side when you pull on the crank. So the whole crank can go like this and not affect anything, and it does. You get that thing at 8,000 RPM sustained.
It's moving. Yeah, it's
I
wrapping
guarantee you
around.
that crank's flopping all over the place, but it don't care. And when I knock that thing out of true, I pull that thing out, it's 15 thou out. The motor still runs fine, it just shakes a lot. Because a week at Bonneville, you're going to be 15 thou out when you pull that crank out. You start out with nothing, but it grows. Every time you run that motor, it just pounds that crank more and more out of true. Just how it is. But you got to let it grow. And I found out on the crank pin, if you don't give that thing 3 thou clearance, 2.5 to 3 minimum on the rod bearings. If you don't have that, the rollers don't rotate. They slide. And when they slide, they tear up the crank pin. The crank pin also gets all these smeared looking marks on it and it starts flaking. I can destroy Jim's crank pin in 5 miles. Start flaking in 5 miles. They're garbage. They won't take the load. But when you loosen them up, the rollers start working, things work again. And that's what's happening with these twin cams. Those twin cams have no rod clearance. The rod's stretched, they pinch the damn bearings, they don't rotate. They just slide in there and tears them up.
Have you ever seen this side, Milwaukee?
I don't work on these very much. What are we looking at?
They have a slot for an Allen here.
What's that thing?
I have no clue.
Looks like a draw plug. Gallery plug, maybe? But they oil through the shaft, don't they?
But I've never...
Do they oil through the shaft?
Yeah.
So they got a plug hole, they got something.
This side is completely plugged
It might
up.
have, that's the compression release.
Yeah, that's compression release. This is...
Yeah, but this is the hole for the compression release, I bet. Probably goes in there about 4 inches deep.
No. So the compression release, these are electric.
Yeah, but this is probably the hole where it goes in the combustion chamber. It probably goes like this and goes like that. It tees into it. So this is your drill hole that goes all the way through. And this one will drain. There's probably another hole somewhere that comes in this angle this way. And see, it's for both sides, see. So that one's going to be drilled on the opposite, see, it's over here.
Yeah.
So this is probably for drilling the hole down. That'd be my guess anyway. Me, I'd weld this hole up, put the spark plug here, and put a compression release over here if you got to have one. I would just not even have a compression release if you didn't have to have it. But this hole I would plug up.
The secondary spark plug?
Yeah, I'd run the plug right in the center where it belongs. Put my compression release out here. Or at least put the compression release over in here and make these two plugs this way if you want to have dual plug. You only need one plug. How many job bikes out there have 2 plugs in them?
I didn't understand why they made the dual plug on this one.
The advantage of a 4-valve motor, you got a pent roof, you got a plug right in the center and it equally burns outward.
Instead, they want it.
So they're burning from the outside coming in. It's stupid. And it's all shrouded over there. The way they make the chamber, it's shrouded. It's not like it's got good flow there. The flow's in the center. You can't get the spark plug hole in here at all. You have to pull the gas tank off and everything's in the way to get to that damn
that's
thing.
Freaking dumbest thing ever.
And there's only a little small hole there to drain the water and dirt out, and that plugs up instantly. And there's no fins over there because they got the stupid hole over there. And I just weld that sucker up. And that's what I'm going to do on my Buell motor. I'll put an M8 head on it. I'll guarantee you it's not going to have those other 2 holes in that head. Those are going to be going bye-bye. We got a single plug on it.
Oh, I need boxes.
What else you got? That it for going on here? That it for bolting on tonight?
Yeah.
Okay, we're out of parts. Alright, there you go. If you want to see it running down the track, you're going to have to go watch his video.
Tatro's going to drive it down the track for me.
Nah, riding this piece of crap. Only ride real Harleys. Alright, there you go.